What's going on, everybody? It's your pal Burrito Johnson coming at you with our first ever video. I'm going to title it The Idiot Video Bag Video Review, what I currently have in my collection. I have no idea. I guess I didn't think this through. I should have probably thought this through a little bit more. But essentially what I want to start doing is reviewing like special edition stuff that I like get, whether it be movies, games, toys, whatever. I don't have that many toys, but as in like special edition box collections and stuff like that, especially TV shows and movies and whatever. But with this episode, I want to focus on the Criterion Collection. For all you guys don't know, Criterion is a company, kind of one of those companies that like restores old movies or movies that are significant, who had a big impact on the world of cinema. And I've known about Criterion when I did. When I first heard about Criterion is when I purchased Brazil, Terry Gilliam's 1985-86 film Brazil, which at the time, this was about maybe 16, 17 years ago, and now I didn't realize. I was like, Criterion, what is this? Whatever, I don't know what that means. But what I saw was a few different cuts of what they made, and of course, I absolutely love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies, probably maybe not of all time, but it's probably it's up there. It's really good visually. The cinematography and everything's great. But the Criterion Collection has the Criterion has always been around, and I've always known about it. And I think the second one that I bought for the Criterion Collection was The Curious Case of Benjamin Button or whatever. Which I no longer have. I lost in a move or something like that. Again, I got it on Blu-ray. Looked awesome. But what I want to focus on today is the little collection that I have of the Criterion. They're all going to be on Blu-ray, and normally they're about, if I'm not mistaken, they're about $30, sometimes $40 if you get it normally. And you could buy them online. Or you could get Barnes & Nobles has the exclusive, I guess one of the few people that could carry like has a whole section of Criterion collections because they're cool like that, I guess. But I wanted to focus on the I have four of my collection has four, and they're all Blu-rays, and they're what I like, and I picked them up with when the Criterion was having a sale. About all their collections were half off, essentially. So Blu-rays and DVDs were, instead of $30 or $40, they were $20. So I couldn't pass it up. So the very first movie I'm gonna do is Being John Malkovich. This movie had a big impact in my early adolescence. I was working at a movie theater. I've always been obsessed with the movies. I was watching Pulp Fiction in 1994 when I wasn't supposed to. Thankfully, I had an older brother who could take me to see those type of movies. Being John Malkovich came out in 1999 and is directed by Spike Jonze, and it's influenced me very much. Like, I think I saw this movie like 5 times in the theater, and thankfully it was free, because I imagine paying 5 times a ticket for a poor 17-year-old or whatever. But this the Being John Malkovich release is it says that it, obviously 1999, but back here it was released in the Criterion Collection 2012, and I have to say, the picture quality is great, and almost all the Criterion collections, they go in and they clean it up. If you read back here, I'm pretty sure you can, and I don't know if this is going to pick it up. It tells you that the special edition feature, the 5.1, yada yada. They've taken out dust and particles and director has supervised, and the cinematographer has supervised this trend, this release. Inside, you are going to find the CD, obviously the movie, and the little booklet that it comes with. I really want to, you should buy that to check it out for sure. What book? It just comes with like little interviews, I think, of of just interviews from like years ago when the movie came out. I could be mistaken. I haven't really read through it, but yeah, unfortunately, this has a dent on it. I don't know how that happened. It didn't have a dent when I brought it home, so something got moved and it got dented. Doesn't that piss you off when you buy something, you kind of take care of it, and then there's a dent because somebody wasn't watching what they were doing? Okay, next movie. Great movie. Obviously, you haven't seen Being John Malkovich. Please pick it up. It's probably one of my favorite movies of all time, for sure. The transfer is great, and it's transferred from, where does it say? It doesn't say which, if it's 2K or 4K, because they usually tell you. I don't know if this edition, and I know later editions they started telling you which 2K or 4K negative they transferred from, but this is an all-new transfer, with DTS and everything, which is kind of the standard of every Blu-ray release. Second movie I'm going to be showing you guys is the Royal Tenenbaums. One of my other favorite movies from Wes Anderson, and I remember being in theaters and watching this, and I was just absolutely in love with this. I love the style. This wasn't the first movie I saw from Wes Anderson in theaters. I actually saw Rushmore in 1998 with Bill Murray. Again, working at a movie theater, I got to between 1998 and 2000, late 2000, I got to really watch some really good movies. And the Royal Tenenbaum, obviously I left, but I did watch this one. But Rushmore was really good. I love the comedy. I was one of the only people out of my group of friends or anybody really at that theater that really enjoyed Rushmore. Everybody's like, this is kind of stupid. I don't get the humor. The Royal Tenenbaums. This obviously came out in 2001. The release was in 2012. If you see in the back, it'll tell you kind of what it has, and director, the DTS. Again, it doesn't tell you which restoration it came from. All it really says is all new transfer, and I will show you inside. You will get. Let me turn this CD. You will get the CD, the movie, obviously, and then the booklet. The booklets are really cool because, if I'm not mistaken, the booklets came with the DVD version as well, and it just kind of gives you the layout, have the houses and stuff like that, and it's pretty cool. It's definitely worth a purchase, especially for $20. I know Barnes and Nobles has this sale twice a year, maybe a couple times a year. And when that happens, I'm definitely going to be looking into. But again, this sale, I kind of caught it in the middle, and it kind of towards the end between paychecks, and I was like, all right, I made a deal with myself. I'm not going to go crazy, spend $100 worth of Criterion stuff. So I'll just buy 2 each paycheck, and essentially this is what I did, and this is what I chose. I recommend picking this up because the Royal Tenenbaums has never looked better ever. I know I should have probably picked up the Life of Aquatic as well, and I failed miserably. Okay, the next batch of movies is from somebody that I admire and I'm obsessed with. If you don't know what this is, definitely go check out who is messaging me? Definitely go check out a little known TV series by the name of Twin Peaks. I discovered this TV series when I was younger, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I fell in love with David Lynch, and I've been collecting a lot of his stuff, mainly DVDs, and I've just been obsessed with his world of just all weird shit that he's been putting out. And of course, Twin Peaks was a major influence in just growing up. So the first one I do want to before I go into one of my favorite ones is probably going to be Eraserhead. Eraserhead is it is, to kind of explain what's going on, you kind of need to check it out. But Eraserhead is probably obviously one of David Lynch's first movies in 1977, and this actually just came out maybe late 2014. And from what I'm seeing is that any of the catalogs or whatever that came out after 2012 started telling you which restoration and stuff that it started doing. But yeah. Eraserhead, David Lynch is going to tell you right there. And in the back, hopefully this could focus all right. So it tells you the new 4K digital restoration supervised by director David Lynch with the Emperor. It's a stereo soundtrack, which sounded fine. I mean, it's not, it wasn't Atmos or whatever the heck, they have now. But it sounded great. The eerie, crazy sounds were there. The picture looks fine. It's black and white. And, we got, Jack Nance is in the cover. I will pull out the sleeve. Got that in the back. I will open without trying to, you got the little Blu-ray and then the little booklet that it comes with. I don't really want to go into it because you definitely need to check this out. If you're a David Lynch fan, I would recommend grabbing this. And he's only released 2 Blu-ray Criterion collections, and he needs to release more, especially Blue Velvet, and Lost Highway, and maybe later on. I don't know how they do it over there. I'm sure it takes forever to get the funding and do the actual restoration and stuff like that. All right, my second and final one, and it's probably one of probably one of my top movies of all time, and it was actually recently voted by the BBC when they did a poll with everybody that it was actually it was the number 1 movie of the 20th century, the 21st century, whatever, and the movie would be Mulholland Drive. Now, another movie to try to explain, which I kind of have my few theories, and I'm thinking about maybe doing a separate video, and I'm planning on actually doing a review on each of the Criterion collections that I've shown you on here. But Mulholland Drive on Blu-ray, obviously all of these on Blu-ray, came out 2001 and was released in late 2015. And I just picked these up with the sale. You'll see the 4K digital transfer supervised by David Lynch and director of photography Peter Deming with the 5.1 DTS, yada yada. What you'll find here is probably the best looking transfer that you've ever seen in Mulholland Drive. They have released Mulholland Drive on Blu-ray before, unlike I think for like other countries and stuff like that. And apparently, as good as that tries to look, it's not restored like Criterion went in and just restored it, cleaned it up, and it looks better than ever, especially on Blu-ray. I don't know about DVD. Listen, any transfer you're gonna get, I'm sure it's gonna look better than what it was. But Blu-ray is always gonna be the king, I think. Obviously, this is not 4K ultra high definition, whatever, but it still looks beautiful. The soundtrack is amazing. It's still a very haunting film. I saw this when it first came out, not in theaters. I went to Blockbuster when Blockbuster was available, before they shut those down, bastards. It was a confusing movie, but at the same time, it's one of those movies that you don't know what's going on, but you just can't stop watching. Just like Roger Ebert, in one of his reviews when he first came out, he's one of the few people who was supportive of this movie. He wasn't really supportive of David Lynch before in his work. He wasn't a fan of Blue Velvet and stuff like that. And he said that he kind of redeemed this stuff because he has absolutely no clue what's going on. But he was just immersed with it, just like I was. I was like, I gotta see what's going on. And then at the end, you kind of don't figure out what's happening. But after multiple viewings, I'm starting to piece things together, especially watching other David Lynch's work. He will not explain it. In the original DVD release, which I have somewhere, there's an insert which gives you like 10 clues or something on to kind of figure out what's going on. And it's some weird clues, or like the lamp in the number 1, the lamp at the beginning of the movie. Pay attention to that, or something like that. But yeah, this one. It's a must-have if you're a David Lynch fan, or just a fan of movies altogether. I mean, this is just a prime example of his work and what he's capable of doing. I mean, come on, this was originally filmed as a pilot for TV, and I know one of the ideas was it was supposed to be a continuation of Twin Peaks kind of thing, and yeah. So I strongly suggest the 4 movies that I picked up. Again, that's my collection, Might not be everybody's favorite collection, but that's okay. It's my collection, and I highly recommend the 4 that I just showed you. And hopefully, I'm gonna tell you straight up, and I don't know, a lot of people may think differently. I'm not gonna buy them at full price. As much as I love these movies, $40 is way too much for a Blu-ray. If it was a box set of a collection, maybe 2 at a time or something like that, then yeah. But $40 is too much, too rich for my blood. But $20 each movie, when it's on sale, it's manageable. But all right, so that's been my the Criterion Collection, my little 4 movies that I have. I know I've seen some videos online. They have like almost a whole collection, and they spend thousands upon thousands of dollars, and I'm like, oh boy, that's a lot of money. But yeah, hopefully in the future, I want to pick up, Seven Samurai and all that stuff, definitely. And I was gonna pick that one up, but unfortunately that was like $30, and I understand because it comes with it comes with like 4 DVDs or something like that. I was like, why 4 DVDs? I would understand if 4 Blu-ray discs. I would understand if it was DVD that you can't fit all that awesomeness into one CD. But another thing I do want to see, hopefully soon, is another one of my favorite directors, Paul Thomas Anderson. I would like to see the Criterion just release some of his movies, if not all. They actually just announced Punch Drunk Love is going to come out, I think, later this year or next year. And I hope to see that. That's a good movie. That Punch Drunk Love is one of his most underrated movies, and Adam Sandler's most underrated, if not one of his best performances, I believe. It was a great movie, but they need for crying out loud, give us Boogie Nights on Criterion. Give us that Magnolia, one of my probably my top 5 all-time favorite movies of all time. Is Magnolia, and please give us a restoration, cleaned up a bit, Magnolia, Boogie Nights, Heart 8, There Will Be Blood, having him, yell at us at DTS and all that stuff, Daniel Plainview, and yeah, P.T. Anderson is another person who desperately deserves his movies to be released on the Criterion Collection, for sure. All right, so that's my mini rant, and I hope you enjoy this video of my little collection here, and hopefully I'll be back with some more. Until next time, this has been The Idiot. Take it easy.